This is an AI dialogue featuring Bill Gates and Socrates. How else would you explain this?
I mean, so this is another like piece of media put together by these AI boosters. I believe the guy who put this up calls himself an AI educator on Twitter, and I would suggest that means he's probably invested in AI. And this is supposed to be the future of podcasting, which is like, what if instead of schmucks like us talking about stuff, you could have real geniuses like Bill Gates and Socrates discuss? Or,
for that matter, what if you could just have a AI version of the schmuck, and the schmuck wouldn't have to show up, and then who's the schmuck?
Probably the people listening, I think.
I was going to say.
But some people think this is really impressive, and I'm still like, I still think like, well, we'll talk about it after we play a little bit of it.
Friend Bill, I see you have brought a device with you today. What purpose does it serve?
Greetings, Socrates. This is a laptop, a marvel of modern technology. It harbors an artificial intelligence that can revolutionize heuristic education.
Interesting.
Imagine a world where students learn at their own pace, guided by a tireless tutor that never errs.
Is this the MacBook you often refer to?
No. This is a Surface. You just need to remember that Surface.
Fascinating. But tell me, what is the essence of this artificial?
Just like the very first thing that they suggested there, like imagine you have a tireless tutor, right? Like the way that what drives me crazy about AI and the way that investors talk about it is they're basically trying to paper over problems in society that are caused by us not investing enough money in the right areas, like education. So like this idea that we're going to have a Socrates chatbot, which what relation that has to the actual Socrates? Like I think you'd have to be very simple to think that British guy talking with that AI voice has anything to do with the real Socrates. And it's just like,
did you not know that I had no sense of humor?
I didn't know you talked like that, Socrates.
I did not get the joke.
This is like Socrates if he knew English and spoke like Ray Fiennes. And like and all these examples, like Derek Thompson, the Atlantic writer, was on with Bill Simmons, and they're talking about like what could be. And Thompson said what I think is like right now it's like the promise of this technology. Like, and when you see Nvidia stock, the tech company stock, go up because of AI chips, it's because of the picks and shovels aspect of it. They're not actually doing anything with it. And they suggested, well, maybe someday we'll have a much better, it would be able to help healthcare because you'll be able to get diagnosis through, again, chatbots, which is, we should be paying to have doctors where people can go talk to them. Like that's the only imagination here is to make up for a problem we're doing by not paying enough people to do the job in the first place.
Right. It's all just going to cut. It's just a way of maximizing profits. Yeah. And so that it's all limited in that respect. I mean, that's the problem with capitalism. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just that like the stuff that's going to emanate out of this. There may be like some stuff on the margins that are really cool, but then that goes away like because it's not profitable. But yeah. I had a conversation with somebody over the weekend who brought up a really good point, and he was like, what's going to happen is it's going to kill like I don't think he used this analogy, but it was basically like what happened to like BuzzFeed and all the places where Facebook had the video. Like the video worked for Facebook, but it didn't work for the companies that were actually producing it. And so now, like, you go into Google and you say, what's the debt ceiling deal? Instead of like you having the option of clicking through on these 5 different stories about the debt ceiling, the AI is going to take all the information from that and present it right on that Google page in the same way like when you're going to, you know, like I'm looking for a restaurant here, and it just has that like the small little thing, and you can actually call it or reserve it there. You don't actually go to the web page. Now the restaurant doesn't care whether you go to the web page, although maybe they have some situation with delivery or whatnot, but if you're a newspaper or you're an online, you know, you're a media outlet, you want people to click through instead of having your information that you've reported on harvested and just presented without them clicking through.
It's like commodified into a more digestible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's also the same problem that we have with like art, you know. oh, this AI came up with this art. No, what it did is it computed the world's art, sucked all the stuff out of it, has a database of essentially like you say, like, I like Monet. Oh, well, okay, here's something that looks just like Monet because we took a bunch of Monet and just changed it, tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah, there's a thing now where it can extend paintings. So somebody did like, here's what the rest quote of Mona Lisa looks like, and it'll automatically, I'll see if I can find it here. 1 second.
But this is, I mean, among all the other issues, you know, all the HAL scenarios, essentially, HAL 2001 scenarios.
And so here is like a guy who says like, here's what the rest quote of the Mona Lisa looks like, and it just has the AI auto generate, and like look, it's interesting, but like I don't know what people get out of that. Like, do you think that's bringing you closer to Da Vinci? Because clearly he wouldn't recognize anything that the AI puts there. Like, do you really think you're getting close to Socrates by what, like, you put in a few of books that have been translated and you think that's Socrates? It's just like, I don't understand how people are so, like, the mystification of it really bothers me. Like how impressed people are by, like, it's not Socrates. It's not even Bill Gates. And if you could add yourself into it, it wouldn't be Sam Seder. It would be your voice. But like the idea that it would actually approximate, I just don't think that's what people value. This whole thing is like trying to remove the human element.
Right. I mean, that's why like it's not a tireless tutor any more than like books on tape or tireless. Like no, right. It's like it's just you're presenting the information. I mean, he's been desperate to, you know, no, Bill Gates didn't say that, but I mean, Bill Gates has been desperate to like computerize education for a long time. And he learned from a study about his own experiment that he commissioned the study that it failed because good teaching, necessary for good teaching. It's not inconceivable you could have a lecture course. People can learn things from lectures. But genuine teaching involves a interplay between the teacher and the student that is a dynamic that is unique to those two people.
A human connection.
A human connection.
You're going to be like, oh, that algorithm in 9th grade really made me believe in myself.
I mean, like, would you go see a AI-generated hologram of a comedian in a room? That would be the real, like, sort of like, people would really realize it then. Like,
and I think it could happen that like a show that's written by AI, if released in a certain circumstance, it could like get buzz, I think, like the first time or the first couple times. But eventually I think people are going to get over that novelty, and if they know that it's written by a robot, they're not going to want that. I do think people are going to prefer the human element to it.
Yes, but what they'll do is, you know, like in terms of the Writers Guild, they'll write the show, the AI will, and then they'll just bring in writers on a day basis to do some punch-up. So we wrote the show, it took us 20 minutes, and it's exactly as the executives wanted it, but we need a little punch-up, a little human. So could you put in, you know...
And make this human.
But then what they do is they get those and they plug those back into the machine and they get a sense of what is human. We're screwed.